So I will start now. Let others come, join. The topic for today's discussion will be classical Sanskrit drama. And this classical Sanskrit drama, I shall be mainly focusing today on the works of Sudraka. Sudraka, as you have heard, was the author of the famous Prakaran play, Nrityakatika. I shall be focusing mainly on the Sanskrit playwrights, with special reference to the works of Shudraka. As we know, the Shudraka is among the few classical Sanskrit playwrights whose plays are extant to us now. So, as in Sanskrit poetry, the period of Sanskrit drama also flourished almost at the same time. Unfortunately, like poetry, only a limited number of dramatic works have survived till date. Even the works that are there, they are in fragments. But fortunately, some of these works show greater elasticity, variety, and vitality, unlike the poetical works of that period. I am talking about the classical period, that is 5th century BC onwards. So, with exception of a few poets like Kalidasa, who also wrote plays, most of these playwrights are the writers of plays only. They are not composers of poems like Kalidasa. So among the early writers, we must remember the names of Shudraka. Even Shudraka had a predecessor in Bhasa. So Shudraka, Bhanas, Harsha, Vishakadatta, Mahendra Vikram, Bhattanarya, and Bhavabhuti. These are the famous playwrights of the classical period. I repeat the names of the playwrights. So Bhash, then Shudraka, then Bhanas, then Harsha, Vishakadatta, Mahendra Vikrama, Bhatta Narayana, and Bhavabhuti. So each of these playwrights represent a different kind of drama, and most of these plays are very interesting. Shudraka's contribution in this development of drama is enormous. Among the playwrights whom we can discuss, Shudraka's name comes or takes a prominent place. And in the long and varied history of Sanskrit drama, the play Mrityakatika of Shudraka occupies a special place, or rather you can say a unique place among the playwrights. So this play, it is sometimes taken as one of the oldest extant Sanskrit dramas, and sometimes it is also regarded as a mere recast, because we have a predecessor, means a play was there existing, and therefore this play can be regarded as a mere recast or even continuation by some clever anonymous playwright who referred to his name as Shudraka. So whatever it is, we are not sure about it. The play Mrityakatika is one of the finest examples of classical Sanskrit drama, and perhaps the oldest extant drama till date. So it is first regarded as a kind of earliest Sanskrit drama, and some regard this as a recast and continuation by some anonymous playwright. The fragmentary Charudatta has been ascribed to Bhasa. So some of the plays of Bhasha, 14 in number, they were found much late in the 19th century in the famous theatre schools of South India, especially Kerala. The plays were found. So this play, Mrityakatika of Shudraka, is based on that play Charudatta ascribed to Bhasha. Although we do not have any exact knowledge of the date, of the origin and authorship, even we do not know what is the relationship between that Bhasa's Charudatta and Shudraka's Mrityakatika, the work has been variously assigned. to periods ranging from 2nd century BC to the 6th century AD. So this is the timing of the play. The historical markers are very important because they inform us where to situate the play, in which socio-historical political context should we situate the play. As you know that this play was has been set in a place called Ujjain. Ujjain has a rich history of at least 2500 years. So probably in the city of Ujjain, modern day Ujjain, the old Ujjain that is there, in that city of Ujjain, this play was composed by a playwright called Shudraka in a period ranging from the 2nd century BC to the 6th century AD, or say 2nd century before Christian era to 6th century Common Era. So nearly 1400 years ago, or at least say 1400 to 2200 years ago, the play was composed. But even if none of the opinions advanced carries complete conviction, we are not sure which date is the probable one, there can hardly be any doubt that this work is particularly a very old work, fairly old work. So if this is dated after say 2nd century BC, we must remember that this was the period when Mauryan Empire had almost come to an end. Mauryan Empire has already come to an end. The rule of Ashoka has been replaced and a new king has come. King Pushyamitra, it is said around 6th century BC, 2nd century BC, has come to power. So probably during that period, in some principalities where we have Ujjain city as the center, was this work composed, and that too composed by a playwright who names himself in the play as Shudraka. So in spite of a number of legends that have gathered around the name of Shudraka, nothing in particular is known of him beyond whatever account Shudraka gives in this play, and this account is somewhat fanciful. This account is given in the prologue to Mritchikatika. So in the prologue to Mritchikatika, we are told that the author was a Brahman king of the name of Shudraka. And among the curious details of his excellence, we find that he was a scholar, a legendary great scholar, who had the proficiency in Rig Veda, Samaveda. He was also a mathematician and was concerned with the art. So there are so many types of kalas or arts. So he was also a person who was well versed with the art concerning the courtesan and the lore of the elephants. So in this play also we have Vasanta Sena, a courtesan, who is a very good performer, artist. So it is said that Shudraka was also a learned man. He had mastered in the art concerning the courtesan and in the lore of the elephants. So these statements are given in the play itself, in the prologue to the play. And we can accept this as the first-hand account of the person, the creator, who is writing the play. So in the prologue, after the benediction is over, we have a rich tribute to the royal author. Royal author means a king who is also writing a play. The royal author is also said to have obtained the blessings, the grace of Lord Shiva. And therefore, after performing the Ashwamegha Yagya or horse sacrifice and placing his son on the throne, it is said that King Shudraka died by entering the fire at the astonishing age of 100 years and 10 days. This is what is recorded in the play itself. In the prologue to the play, we find this description of King Shudraka. Whether all this describes an actual historical or mythical king, we are not certain of it. And Shudraka's identity and authorship must be considered as a part of this unsolved problem regarding the play. Even Kalidasa, there is a fact Kalidasa's predecessor Somila wrote a work called Sudraka Katha. Perhaps this work by Somila, Sudraka Katha, indicates Sudraka's legendary character, accepted even before Kalidasa's time. And to the later authors like Dandin, Banabhatta, Kalhana, and Somdeva, Shudraka, King Shudraka, is already a figure of romance associated with Vidisha, Pratisthana, Vardhamana, and other places. So there are so many legends associated with the name King Shudraka. Even there are some late legends associated with the name, connected with the Andhra Bhratyas. So from Andhra, empire was there, Andhra Bhratyas, and it is said that this Andhra Bhratyas dynasty, or we can say Andhra Pradesh, present day Andhra Pradesh, Andhra Bharatiya dynasty, they had their capital city in the city of Ujjain. And it is also said that the Satvahana or Shalivahana, that dynasty that ruled during this period, also had its capital city in Ujjain. So King Shudraka must belong to either of these two, either Andhra Bharatas or Satavahana's period. Jawaharlal Nehru, in his discovery of India, regards Satvahana period as the period when King Shudraka composed his work called Mritchikatika. So these are all legends associated with the name. But to melt down the legends and recoin the historic truth about them is very difficult. Especially the art historian or theatre historians must depend on more reliable sources. And these more reliable sources are at present not available to us, the researchers. So we cannot pinpoint the date. The dating of a play depends on basically two sources. One is called the external source, external evidence. The second is called the internal evidence. The external evidence refers to the manuscriptology, the dating of the manuscript from where the play is derived. It also refers to the external references to the play made by other writers or historians. External evidence also refer to any kind of archaeological evidence that we get on the basis of historical excavation of archaeological sites. So these are the external evidences. The external evidences supporting the composition history of Shudraka's Mritchikatika are not there. So we cannot just construct the history of the text on the basis of the external evidences. Even the manuscript that we have got of Shudraka's Mritchikatika is not a very old one. Okay, it dates back to say 11th century AD. So placing a manuscript to the original date is very difficult. So these manuscripts were either copies of the original manuscript and must have gone through several stages of recension. That is always there in the transmission of the classical text. Moreover, the classical texts were also transmitted from the oral mode to the written mode. We have the Sanskrit script written in the Devanagari coming to us only around 1st century BC, not before that, the Sanskritic text. So Brahmi Lipi is there around that period. So we also have the Pali, the old Pali language, the Prakrit language that was composed in the Pali script can also be seen before 1st century BC. So the manuscript that we get is in Sanskrit. So we do not know whether this Sanskrit text is based on the earlier text written by Shudraka in some other language. And we are also not sure about the compositional history of the text based on the evidences that we have, especially the archaeological external evidences that we have. So whatever be the dating of the play, one thing is clear, that this play must have been written after 2nd century BC, not before that, because of the dating. So now we have to depend mainly on the internal resources, internal evidences that the play has. So this play presents a picture of a society. picture of a contemporary society. So if we try to trace the exact date of composition with reference to the society that the play depicts, we can come around 2nd century BC, not before that. Way of life, the religious confluence, the stratification of society on caste lines, the class division in society, the entire structure of society. So we also have some reference, historical reference, of course, to the Palaka, the king that is mentioned in this play, Mitchakatika. And we also have the presence of the new prince who is coming at the end of the play. Historical evidences. So they can be traced to the 2nd century BC. So the characters, if we are trying to trace the historicity of characters in the play, we can say that these are characters drawn from history of Ujjain, and that must have happened around 2nd century BC, not before that. Now, 2nd century BC story may be written after that. So we therefore regard the timing or the composition of the play from 2nd century BC to 5th century AD, not before that. So this is the timing that we have usually accepted for our understanding of the play. So why is the timing more essential? So if we have to regard Shudraka as a good writer, as a realistic writer, as a writer who is writing a prakaran following, so we have to assume certain things. Number one, what was the dramaturgy prevalent during that period? Was Natya Shastra and a text that was referred to or that was used for the production of this play? What was the socio-political, cultural, religious condition of the age, so that we can judge whether the play is a realistic portrayal of the contemporary time or not? So his legendary character, Shudraka's legendary character, has been accepted by most of the writers. So he has been regarded as a good romancer, a good writer by several writers who belong to 4th century AD, 5th century AD. Even late legends connect him to, I said, Andhra Bharatiyas or Satvahana dynasty. So he must have been a king of a small principality located in Ujjain during the Andhra Bharatiya period or Satavahana period. So they are all intermingling. Okay, the timing is crisscrossing. Some facts may have been drawn into the legend, and probably real incidents and names of real persons occur. But the attempt to separate the real from the unreal is especially a pastime of ingenuity. Whatever the external evidence is, they fail miserably to tell us the exact date. Even the internal evidence is equally elusive. So we have to assume that Mitchakatika went through several stages of revision, adaptation, that we call recension. So recension of Chaludatta, written by Bhasa. In this play, we have only 4 acts. The first 4 acts almost match with that of Mitchakatika. So Bhasa's Chaludatta 4-act play, its influence on Mitchakatika can be seen, and we can say that this play has come, Mitchakatika has come as a recension. So the word Mitchakatika means a clay cart, a toy made up of clay, cart made up of clay. So we even don't have any decisive evidence regarding Bhasa's authorship of those dramas. I said 14 plays attributed to Bhasa. Extant the manuscripts were found in the late 19th century. But we are not sure about the authorship of the drama. Even if the ascription that Charudatta has been written by Bhasa is correct, this is not sufficient to suggest any kind of definite date or timing for the composition of this particular play, Shudraka's Mitchakatika. So we have to therefore work on some other details in the play, search for more internal evidences in the play. Internal evidence, however, show us that the play was written in the turn of the millennium, say 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD. Within that time, the play must have been written. So we have royal authors in this play. Shudraka claims himself to be a royal author. So in historic times, in those past times, royal authors were not adverse to of having works written for themselves. They used to appoint writers to write in their name. So it was a tradition during that period. So King Shudraka might have employed a group of writers, poets, dramatists during that period in order to compose this play called Mritshikatika, as was the tradition during that period. So it has been maintained by those who believe in the historical Shudraka as that the real author, as a real author. So this real author Shudraka might be a king. He might have commissioned others to write or have himself written this play Mritshikatika. So it is almost sure that a person named Shudraka or a group under the orders of Shudraka wrote the play called Mritshikatika. So like a wise and grateful courtier, any author, good author, might have ascribed the work to the royal patron and allowed his or her own name to perish. It might be the case. Some writer must have written the work, and in order to pay the tribute to the patron who has supported or sponsored the work, King Shudraka, he has kept the name of King Shudraka. So this is also lacking in proof. So we cannot be even sure about this anonymity of the writer. So we can assume that this play, number one, is based on Bhasha's Charudatta. Okay, an old play written before that. Number two, we can assume that this play was written by King Shudraka. King Shudraka, who was a ruler of Ujjain. Number three, the internal evidence show us that Palaka really lived during that period, and the new king who will come to power at the end of the play also did a rebellion against the king and came to power during the same period around 2nd century AD. So this might be a work based on that history of Ujjain, or might be totally an invention. As I said earlier, Prakaran is a play based on author's invention. Plot, the entire story, even characters are invented characters. But in case of invented Prakaran also, we have some historical sources. So these are not legendary or popular stories, but these may be based on some historical events. So this might be the case with Mritshikatika. It might be based on a real historical event, but the story that is told is innovative, original, because the historical event is kept in the backdrop. So against that backdrop of the historical event, the rule of King Palaka and the usurpation of his throne by another new ruler, this is kept in the background, and inside the story we have the story of a Brahmin named Charudatta and how Charudatta falls in love with Vasantasena, and the entire plot that is invented is there in the play. So we have this kind of transmission of the play. Okay, transformation or adaptation of the play, a kind of recension of the original Bhasha's Charudatta. So we have this at the center, and the concealed identity of the writer who claims himself to be Shudraka must be always be regarded as the basis of the understanding of the play. So much less convincing. Again, we do not have any kind of solid proof. So again, this is hypothetical that early dating of the play is possible or not. There are some accidental similarities between this play, Shudraka's Mritshikatika, and the Roman plays of Plautus. Very interesting area. So Greek Roman plays of Plautus and this play by King Shudraka, Mritshikatika, have several layers of similarity. Okay, there are several layers of similarity. We know that King Kanishka and after that the Yunanis had a long rule. Even the Gandharva period was an Indo-Greek period of rule. The Bactrian rulers of Greek and Rome, they occupied much larger portion, and their kingdom extended up to Magadha. Okay, just after the Mauryan period, we have this. So We have the expansion of the Greek civilization in India, Indian civilization in Greece. Therefore, Roman civilization or Greek civilization, they must have had some kind of interaction, and that is found in this play. There is some kind of similarity between Plautus's comedies, okay, Greek comedies, and the works of Shudraka. So we are therefore much in kind of speculative criticism regarding this play. Speculative criticism is based on some kind of speculation. We have to first of all date the play. The plays that I mentioned, Greek New Comedy, also belong to the 2nd century AD to 4th century AD. That is the marker, the period when Plautus, Terence, the writers of New Greek and Roman comedies, they are working. But even on this ground, however, the ground is not very solid, it's inadequate. It is impossible to assign a particular date to the play called Mrithyakatika. So in 18th century, 8th century, there are some references to a composition by Shudraka. Around 8th century, we have got some external references to the composition of the play by Shudraka. So it must have been written before 8th century, that is for sure, because we have got now external evidence pointing to the composition of the work. So Vamana, for example, already in the 8th century refers to a composition by Shudraka and also quotes two passages anonymously, one of which also occurs in Chaludatta. Okay, one such quotation occurs in Chaludatta. Chaludatta is a play written by Bhasa, while the other dialogue that is mentioned, that is quoted by Vamana, that does not appear in Chaludatta. So it might be said that Chaludatta, that play by Bhasa, was written earlier, and after that Mrithyakatika added a few more verses or lines. And when Vamana in the 8th century is quoting the work by Shudraka, he is using the quotation from the second text or Shudraka's Mrithyakatika. So in the 4 acts of Chaludatta of Vasa, we have 55 verses. Okay, of these only 13 verses are not found in Mrithyakatika. So just see the similarity. There are 55 verses. Verses means the slokas type, okay, dialogues. So 55 dialogues are there, of which 13 dialogues are not found in Mrithyakatika, and other 42 are almost identical. So in the 4 acts of Shudraka play, the number of dialogues, okay, is much more than in Bhasha's Charudatta. So it must be said that this is a work in progress, a work that has been composed through time, and it might be that Bhasa's Charudatta was in the oral form and partly written down, and later on through several layers of recension, interpolation, adaptation, finally under King Shudraka's rule, this work got a full form, a long prakaran structure it got. Whatever may have been the date and whoever may have been the author, there can of course there can be no doubt that the play is one of the few Sanskrit plays in which the playwright is not following the classical tradition of drama that was there. So he is departing from the beaten tracks and is trying to write a play with a wider, fuller, deeper meaning of life. So this play is more realistic than other Sanskrit plays. So the playwright has paid for his boldness and originality by a general disregard for his work by the Sanskrit theorists. So even Natya Shastra, say Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra, talks about plays. Even Prakaran, has been defined by Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra. But the form of Prakaran that has been suggested in Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra does not completely match with Shudraka's Mrithyakatika. And there is much more innovation, originality shown by the writer. But we know that, yes, this writer knows that he is writing a drama, writing a play based on a convention. So it is not a kind of sentimental verses or just a poem, a kavya. And we have almost realistic conversational dialogues in this play. That was not there in earlier Sanskrit plays. So it is not a usual type of dramatic poem. Rather, it contains several elements of prose dialogues. So it is a combination of dramatic poetry and prose. And it has distinct dramatic qualities which make this drama a greater appeal to the modern taste and idea can be seen through this dramatic representation. And poetry is, of course, there. Yes, best lines of this play are composed in poetry. But apart from that, there are also lines that are conversational, dialogic. So almost from the contemporary idiom, the dialogues are taken. In this play, we have so many dialects, so many types of language, and characters are so faithfully represented by King Shudraka in Micchakatika that they appeal to us. So it is not a Sanskrit play as such, because we have in this play the use of different dialects, Prakrit languages, Pali language, Madhubani language, Maithili language, Ujjaini language, Brijbhasi. All these languages are there in this play. So because of the presence of the dialects that are there, we can say that this is not a pure Sanskrit play, because such words are not there in Sanskrit that are there used in this play, although it can be written in Sanskrit. So you understand the difference. The script is Devanagari script, which is representing the Sanskrit language, but the play contains multiple types of languages apart from Sanskrit. So it is not the usual type of dramatic poem and possesses distinct dramatic qualities and appeals more to the contemporary taste. Therefore, we have adaptations of the play even in the modern times. Say, the famous theatre director Habib Tanveer had produced this play as Mitti Ki Gaadi. Even cinematic adaptations are there on this play. Shashi Kapoor produced a play called Utsav, where we have an adaptation of Mrityakatika. Even Bharat Ek Khoj by Syam Benegal, that also has an episode on Mrityakatika. So these adaptations are there, and these adaptations show how the playwright could appeal to the modern taste and ideas. So it gives a graphic account of the contemporary life. This is a realistic play. In Sanskrit plays, most often we do not find this. Even in Kalidasa's Abhigyanam Shakuntala, we do not have this realistic picture of life, especially of contemporary society, contemporary life. But this play, Mrityakatika, is truly worthy of a great dramatist because of its skillful handling of the plot, handling of the swift moving plot that can retain our interest for a longer time. In its variety of incidents and characters, large number of characters are there in this play, and these characters belong to different class, different caste, different gender. All these characters are brought together, and there is a freedom from the usual fault of over elaboration. So it is never boring. This play is not a play that denies interest in the mind of the audience. So every time we find that this play has interesting things happening. So suspense is generated throughout the play. There is no over elaboration, and there is always a sharpness of characterization, especially in the use of direct and homely imageries that are there. The poetic imageries are very homely, domestic, and everything is conveyed in a clear, in a very forceful, in a very dramatic, unaffected diction. So we have a clear, skillful emplotment of the plot, and that generates much of suspense. We have a variety of meters in this particular work. As I said, the language that is used in the play has been derived from various sources. various types of dialects or languages are used in this play. Even the metrics or meters, metrical pattern of this play, the rhythmic pattern of the play is of various type. It's not a single Sanskritic metrical composition. The dialogues are very witty. Therefore, we compare the dialogue of Mritchikatika with the dialogues that are there in Roman plays of Plautus, in plays of Terence. So this play is remarkable for the language, for its witty dialogue, and also in its general liveliness that is full of dramatic effect. The play can be easily adapted into a super hit modern commercial movie. So Rohit Sethi like movies can be composed out of this play, Mritchikatika. So there is an in-depth study of human nature, a faithful portrayal of society, in-depth psychological study of characters, and handling of different types of rasas. Although Prakaran as a form mainly deals with the Sringar rasa, the love erotic rasa, as well as the Karuna rasa, the pathos. In this play, we find that there is a deep pathos that is generated. And this pathos is also counterbalanced with hasya rasa, humor, with witticism. So, in spite of its somewhat conventional happy ending, there is an adequate development in the play. So, we cannot say that this is a pure comedy. We cannot even say that this is a pure tragedy. In the classical European dramatic tradition, as laid down by Aristotle, we have basically two types of plays. One is tragedy, one is comedy. Tragedy, Aristotle said, is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete in itself, of certain magnitude, with a beginning, a middle, and an end, wherewith the action is arranged in such a manner that the tragic hero, the central protagonist of the play, is allowed to pass from a stage of relative happiness to a stage of absolute misery, from a state of ignorance to a state of knowledge. And when he reaches this state of knowledge and suffering, that arouses an amount of pity and fear in the mind of the audience. And finally, audience, after seeing this on the stage, the spectacle of human suffering, go through a kind of emotional purgation of pity and fear. This was Aristotle's definition of tragedy. He also talked about the unity of action. In tragedy, everything should be tied together in such a way so as to provoke the emotion of pity and fear, arouse the emotion of pity and fear, wherewith to accomplish the catharsis of such emotion. This was Aristotle's concept of tragedy. On the other hand, comedy, according to Aristotle, was an imitation of an action that is ludicrous, that is ridiculous. Okay. Having a structure of plot that is innovative, full of suspense, surprise, and we have the characters passing from a state of relative confusion to a state of solution. So, from confusion to solution, that is comedy. So, it begins in disaster. Lot of problems are there. The twins are separated, the lovers are separated. Okay, brothers are separated. So, at the end, they are all united. So, it begins with confusion, ends with solution, ends with either marriage or reunion and reconciliation. So, comedy, according to Aristotle, generates laughter instead of tears. And by evoking a general sense of happiness, by generating laughter in the mind of audience, it purges our ill will, ill feelings, and make us happy. So this is comedy. But while reading this particular play by Shudraka, we find that this is neither a tragedy nor a comedy. Okay, this is neither a tragedy nor a comedy. Everything that ends well makes it a comedy because the play ends with union. Okay, disasters happen in the play. Death, disaster, cunning, cruelty. These are all things that happen in the play. And because of the presence of this pathos, we can also say that this play is also having tragic elements. So it walks on the tightropes between tragedy and comedy without becoming either a tragedy or a comedy, and remains a classical Sanskrit play called Prakaran. And because of its innovative plot structure and characterization, we have a curious title in the play. So usually it's Abhigyanam Shakuntala, the title, or the titles of the Natakas mainly are based on the epical heroes. Here we have a kind of play based on a plot that revolves around that toy, okay, a clay cart that is started with jewels, gold by Vasantasena. This is offered to the child, the son of Charudatta. So we have a conventional happy ending at the end. But this happy end is also tinged with sorrows. There is union of the lovers, but this union of the lovers also happen alongside the presence of the wife. Charudatta has a wife Dhuta, so there is this triangular love that might have ended in disaster, but did not end in disaster. But in spite of the triangle, the end contains the presence of two wives and one husband. So that is the happy ending that the play generates, tinged with the tragedy. So it is Dhuta's tragedy seen from Dhuta's perspective. Dhuta has now to share Charudatta with a new woman in spite of her goodness, essential goodness. Now she has to share her husband with a new wife, Vasantasena. Vasantasena, on the other hand, is a courtesan. So she was denied the basic human rights by society, always treated as an item girl by the society. But now this Vasantasena is also reconciled. She gets Charudatta and the allowance to marry Charudatta. Okay, this permission to marry Charudatta, crossing the barriers of her courtesan status, is of course revolutionary. She becomes a modern woman who is given this empowerment to shed off her courtesan status and become a devoted wife. Charudatta, on the other hand, who was a kind of a person who ignored his work, his task, he squandered his money in pursuit of art, in pursuit of music. He was once upon a time a rich tradesman, but now in the play, he is a poor man. So that poor Brahmin Charudatta then takes that extra burden of falling in love with Vasantasena, ignoring Dhuta. And when we find that this wife, the homely wife Dhuta, is supporting Charudatta, when especially Charudatta lost the jewels that were kept in his custody, a thief had stolen the jewels. So Dhuta comes and offers her own jewelry in order to compensate the loss. So the story is an intermingling of pathos and laughter, of tragedy and comedy. Neither the plot nor the characters of the play can be regarded conventional. All these excellences invest the simple love story of this 10-act comedy, 10-act tragic comedy of middle class life with a charm peculiarly its own. And with this remark, I must come to a kind of conclusion regarding the play, that we can say that Shudraka's Mitchakatika is one of the most Shakespearean of all the Sanskrit plays that come to us. We can also say that this is one of the most Roman, most Greek of all the plays that have come to us. The drama has not only a curious title. What is the title? Little Clay Cart. That is the title, variously adapted. Toy cart, little clay cart. And there is, of course, an equally curious theme, especially the treatment of the theme. On the one hand, there is a serious theme of the act of usurpation, a rebellion, a revolt is going on. So there is a usurper, a new person is trying to assume the throne. That story is there. The real king is defeated, and the new rebel hero becomes the hero of the play. the king of the Ujjain, king of Ujjain. So all these excellences invest this simple love story of 10 acts based on the middle class life with a charm that is its own. This drama has a curious title, a curious theme, and an innovative treatment of the story. So it is episodic. The entire story is episodic in structure, but all these episodes are interconnected, and everything revolves around the jewels of Vasanta Sena. So it also expresses the materialism that was there prevalent during this period. So the heroine's jewels are left in the toy cart of the hero's little son, and this gives rise to complications of the plot, and which are finally resolved in the denouement of the play. The episodes of the clay card also has psychological significance, and everything that is in clay is turned into gold in the play. So whatever is in the shape of a clay is turned into gold at the end of the play. That is a transformation that is taking place. Human beings, elemental human beings, turn into something rich and strange, precious. What is more remarkable is that in this drama, for the first time, we turn from the stories of kings and queens to a more common plebeian atmosphere. And there is a dramatization of a common story that we can easily relate to. Thus, even after 2000 years of its composition, this play, Mrithyakatika, has appealed to us, the readers, as well as those who adapt the play for the stage, and then to the audience. This play has remained very popular. So this is a short introduction that I can give on this playwright Shudraka and his Mrithyakatika. If you have any question, you can ask. Any questions? So for your revision, I will upload this entire lecture on the YouTube. Okay, just type my name. You will find a YouTube channel and subscribe to it and watch this at your free time. Thank you very much. So I must take leave. I have another online session. Any question from your side, please?
Thank you, sir.
Any question from your side? Okay, we will discuss those questions in the next class. Day after tomorrow at 1:30, at 2:30 we meet again. Okay, Wednesday 2:30 we meet again. Tata, bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Inform
sir.
your friends. Bye.